Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and is this the next viral plier or the next meme tool or even maybe the next plier of the year? WORKPRO, made in China? Seriously? What do we have here? We have got a 4-inch, actually a pair of 4-inch water pump pliers that are direct competitors to the smallest, the little 110 or 100 Knipex Cobras. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities and a few differences. Let's dive in here. Now, who'd have thought? You know, I brought this to a lot of folks' attention. This is the 7-inch Klein lineman. I suggested maybe this is the plier of the year, even though it's been out. Knipex just revealed that they are doing kind of a combination jaw redesign on their Cobra that's going to include some screw extraction like their twin grip. That one's not available yet, but when it is, will that be the next big thing? Well, at the moment, this is the next big thing. And what we've got are two very Cobra-esque small 4-inch 100mm pliers. Now, these have a push button, which is usually found on the larger Knipex pliers where you have to push the button. The smaller 100 here, you just open it fully and then you can ratchet it in and out. That's how this mechanism works. But as you notice, there's only teeth on one side. So the 15 position push button on this side is the traditional Cobra, and some people really prefer that. And there was a question is if Knipex could even design something like that with the strength that was needed. Well, here it is in a WORKPRO. I don't know. We'll have to see how this holds up, but in all honesty, a small little plier like this, you really shouldn't be generating the foot-pounds necessary to tax the mechanism. Very similar. If I bring up a pair of Cobras here, you can see they have modified slightly that design. It's using this spring steel pusher against a plug that has teeth in it. If you take one of these apart and the teeth engage into this, which gives you kind of that double pawl design, very strong. If we crack this open, we're going to compare the jaws here to the Knipex. So I've got both these open. You can see the jaw thickness. Flip these around, I guess, to get them lined up right. The jaw thickness, the teeth, and that's not just the presence of the teeth and the positions, but also the size of the teeth. Get that back to focus a little better. The width, the placement. Very similar. Is it going to be noticeable? Well, I don't know. You might have to have both of these things and line them right up with the same fastener to see. Now, one test I am going to run right here. This is a 1 kilogram chunk of tungsten. And I'm going to crack this open all the way. First, I'll do it with the Knipex. Slide that open. And I'm just going to grab this and see if I can pick it up and move it. Does it grab it? Yep, look at that. 1 kilogram of tungsten. This is 1.5 inches across, and I can easily grab it. Plenty of strength there. That's my test. Let's see how the WORKPRO does. Open it to its fullest extent. Let's do a quick comparison there. Here's the closed. Looks like the WORKPRO is a little bit bigger. We line those up really close, maybe the same. Kind of depends on the jaw angle. If we open it fully, what happens here? Not that you do this, but that is actually a measurement. There's a bit of a difference there. Looks like Knipex for the win on that one. But I can grab this with the WORKPRO, probably. Let's see, and look at that. Nice and strong. 1 full kilogram of tungsten and 1.5 inch grab. Now, the reason I'm pointing that out is sometimes these do have to grab well above their pay grade. And that's when you want something that literally can work beyond what it was designed for. Generally, you go to the closed level here, which is this measurement. And you can see, line up the top jaws and the bottom jaws. Looks like, well, might be Looks like, yeah, that's it. It's a WORKPRO for the win there by a millimeter or so. But what we have is a Cobra-esque plier that is, well, how much? Retail on this is, I think, about 13 bucks. I got it with a little bit of a prime sale, I think, for like 10 and change, versus this for in the 30s. Potentially 3 times as much. Now, that's an interesting question when it comes to a high quality, say, German tool, right there, made in Germany, versus, well, I guess that probably means made in China. It is made in China, according to the box. And what we've got by thinking about that is, well, how much do you use it, and does it perform at this smaller level? Now, one thing that's kind of interesting that happens sometimes with small tools is the difference in quality, in defects, in maybe manufacturing differences really shines in small tools. You can, if somebody can produce a very small tool and you're impressed, that's probably a big deal. Go get a big tool, whether it's a big rigid pipe wrench or snap-on screwdriver, or you know, a Mac something or other, and look close. You will see little inconsistencies in the design. Well, if that shows up on a small scale, well, that's pretty tough. And I learned that actually from the folks over at Grand Force Brucks who make hand forged axes and hatchets, and they're very expensive. But the small ones are very expensive, given that they're much less material than the large ones. And the reason is the amount of forgings that do not you know, cut the quality control. There are problems with them, and they really show up on the small ones, whereas the large ones, they don't, you know, because you just pass it by because it's a big tool. You can see here the WORKPRO is a little bit wider handle. This tether point is kind of nice, especially if you were using this for something, you know, quickly, and then maybe had it just drop and you know, went to your hand. I don't know. I'm still working my way through that. I don't think it needs a storage option of hanging on anything, but as a good tether point, I could see that happening, especially if you're using it, let's say, you know, in a rather, you know, constricted environment, and you don't want to drop a little tool way down into something. So yeah, kudos to the tether point. This blue thing looks like it's just a painted cap. Get that to focus there. Is that worth it? You know, I don't know. It's a nice little accent. I could probably unscrew it and put it on a Knipex Cobra, a little larger one. But there is that. They care. And it comes in those 2 flavors. Where's the other one here? And those 2 flavors seem to be, you know, this silver and this black. Otherwise, they look identical all the way through. Kind of an amazing drop from WORKPRO. There is some question as to whether or not the Cobra patent is up. I don't know. But for somebody who's deep into the EDC world and interested in having, you know, the capabilities of a Cobra plier, which are extensive, in a highly affordable version, well, there is that. And a lot of people didn't want to fork over the dough for something like this. It's too small. Or they went with the little bit larger one. I can't find my Cobra. It's in a kit somewhere. But anyway, it's this size here, this 125. So this is the 100, the 125, and then there's a 150, and then 180 and 200 and so on. But to think about it in a 100, interesting. And I'll leave it with that. Tell me your thoughts. Are you into this? I've got links below if you want to order them. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't if you're into the EDC world and you want the functionality. They seem like a solid plier. I mean, squeezing them, there's no real compression here. You know, the movements, the sound. You know, this is very, right there. If I even just push it a little to get that clicking, you know, how does that compare to a Cobra? I mean, that's got a lot fine, or a lot thicker, coarser jaws, but wow. Anyway, but wait, there's more. Stop back again for that. And with that, Doc out.